If you're not winning the buy box, you're missing out on sales. Simple as that. Over 80% of Amazon sales comes from the buy box. So if you don't understand how the buy box works, your business is at a massive disadvantage. In this video, I'll break down exactly how the buy box works, show you some live examples, and I'm going to give you guys the exact strategies to win it more often. Now, if you're brand new and you do not know what the buy box is, the buy box is simply that buy now button you see when you go to Amazon.com when you're about to make a purchase as a consumer. It's as simple as that. So whenever you're on Amazon and you're about to purchase a product and you press that buy now button, that's the buy box. And as an Amazon seller, the buy box is one of those things where you really have to understand to maximize its potential. And how you maximize its potential is simply by winning the buy box. I know, super simple, just win the buy box, right? But there's definitely a few factors that play into winning the buy box, which I'm gonna cover right now. First and foremost is price. Now, obviously, if you're priced 20-30% higher than the entire market, you're probably not gonna win as much buy box share. Having competitive pricing in the market is a massive key to winning the buy box. If you're priced competitively and just priced similar to all the other sellers, there's one check mark to getting the buy box. Aside from pricing, you also have to take into consideration of your fulfillment method. Meaning, are you going to fulfill your products via FBA or FBM? Now, when it comes to fulfillment method and winning the buy box, it really varies between each product. For example, some listings have tons of FBA sellers and maybe little to no FBM sellers. So something like that, if you're thinking about FBMing a product, there's a good chance you're probably not going to win as much buy box share compared to FBA. Now, there is a little bit more nuance because you would have to look at the buy box statistics to determine how many sellers are FBA compared to FBM, which of them are winning the buy box even more. Now, I'll dive deeper into that within a live example. But pretty much you have to understand that the fulfillment method is one of the big keys you have to take into consideration when it comes to winning the buy box. Now, so far we have pricing and fulfillment method. Another key aspect is shipping, which kind of also falls into fulfillment method, but your shipping speed can also play a huge role when it comes to winning the buy box. Which is why when you begin to start selling on Amazon, you'll understand that if you hop on a listing with a ton of FBM sellers and there's not much FBA share, but if you hop on as an FBA seller, you could possibly just win the buy box simply by having better shipping. And you can be charging 5 to even 10% higher than the current market as an FBA seller simply because you have better shipping speed. But that's a conversation for a live example. But ultimately, shipping speed is one of the factors that plays a role when it comes to winning the buy box. And then of course we have reviews. Now, unfortunately, reviews are one of the things that we really can't control at all. And understand that the more you sell on Amazon, the more reviews you'll get over time, which is why you might notice as a newer seller, it's probably harder to win the buy box in the beginning, simply because you don't have that much history on Amazon. Think about it. Amazon's probably going to favor the guy that has 1,000 reviews compared to the person that has no reviews and that's not really trustworthy just yet on the platform. Reviews are simply just something that you will get over time as you sell more and more and more. Which on the other hand, when you begin to make more sales and pick up more reviews, you're going to notice an increase in buy box percentage share simply because you have reviews and Amazon is looking at you a lot more trustworthy as a seller. But again, reviews are something you can't really control. It'll just happen as you begin to make more and more sales. Now that you understand some of the factors that play a role when it comes to winning the buy box, let's go over some live examples. All right, so I pulled up these Nike socks as an example. You can't sell Nike on Amazon anymore, especially if you're a newer seller. I still can sell Nike. I choose not to anymore just because they are currently ruining a lot of people's accounts. So just to kind of keep my account safe, I stopped selling them. There's tons of other brands that are way better anyways. But besides the point though, as you can see, if I go down here to sell amp, you can see the lowest seller is priced at $25.65. A newbie seller would think, let me price with this guy or even undercut him so I can win the buy box. When in reality, pricing is not always the indicator to winning the buy box. Yes, it plays a role, but it's not something you automatically want to take into consideration immediately. We can see right here, if I hover into the keeper graph, we have guys winning buy box at $30, right? FBM at $25.67. Okay, that's probably around this guy's range right here. Guys at $30, right? Now you see it's not only based off of price, but it's based off of fulfillment. In this case, FBA sellers could win buy box and even price $4 to even $5 higher than the current market simply because they have quicker shipping and obviously better fulfillment. Now, that's what's typically going to happen if you're going to do FBM is you're probably going to have to price a little bit lower than FBA just so you can compensate for not having as good as fulfillment because obviously FBA is way better fulfillment than FBM. But regardless, in this case, we can see we have guys at $29.80, guys at $25.67 priced FBM. And even if I go right here, we have a guy priced FBM at $27.22. So it goes to show that not only is buy box going to target a seller just because they're priced lower, it's also going to base it off of performance as well. You can see the seller right here, AMAS Sales 20, whatever the name is. They're priced at $29.80 and they're not even the lowest price. Now, with something like this, we can see the buy box is very heavily shared between FBM and FBA sellers. So in a listing like this, it's really up to you as a seller if you want to do FBM or FBA, just because the buy box is very friendly between both fulfillment methods. So what I would do from here is I would go to data, buy box statistics. Now the buy box stats is going to tell me everything as far as how many sellers are FBA, how many are FBM, what percentage of sellers are going to be FBA compared to FBM, and also what the price is on the buy box for these FBA and FBA sellers. So we can see right here, Express Shipping has 21% of the buy box, and they just won it just now, and they won it at $29.81 as an FBA seller. Now, if I put my cursor right along this row below, we can see, right, the check mark means these are FBA sellers, and the non-check marks, the blank ones, are FBM sellers. So we can see it's pretty evenly distributed between FBA and FBM sellers, telling me, well, this listing is very FBM and FBA friendly, and I can choose as a seller whether I want to do FBM or FBA in this case. So you can see strictly off of this example alone, Amazon doesn't just base their algorithm, aka the buy box algorithm, off of price. It's really based off of price and performance, right? Obviously, fulfillment speeds. You could see Express Shipping also has, how many reviews does this guy have? This guy has reviews of he has 441 reviews, right? So it's a pretty good amount of reviews. That's obviously going to help him attain most of this buy box percentage. And I'm not going to say the reviews is the main reason why he's getting buy box, but it's definitely an addition to why he's winning it as well. And not only why he's winning it, but getting a pretty big chunk of the buy box as well. So all in all, this is a really good example of displaying how the buy box is not just strictly targeting the lowest price. It's targeting, obviously, the best pricing, right? Competitive pricing along with its performance, aka shipping/fulfillment, and a little bit showing how reviews can play a role in this as well. But we'll check out another listing right now, going over a few other things when it comes to looking at the buy box. All right, as another example, I pulled up the Carter's Girls underwear right here. We can see if I scroll down a little bit, a lot of the sellers are mainly, okay, so there's a good amount of FBM and FBA sellers. So 6 FBA sellers, 6 FBM sellers. Now, if I go to data and buy box statistics, we can see most of these guys, matter of fact, like majority of the sellers are FBA sellers. And not only that, majority of this buy box is pretty much hogged. Meaning when the buy box is hogged, for example, in this case, practically 80% of buy box is targeted towards 2 sellers, which is quite a lot, especially for a listing that doesn't sell a whole lot a month. Now, we can see in the offer count, there definitely are sales being made, but 80% of sales, right? That's not going to really justify the fact that we really want to hop on this listings and we're urgent to make sales because of the fact that it doesn't sell a whole lot and majority of the buy box is hogged. Now, as you can see, the lowest seller is 2375 FBM, and majority, even if I put my cursor on the buy box, it's practically all FBA, and majority of the time is hogged by, this one guy right here, State Street Mercantile, and, we have another guy, Janie Ventures. So a couple guys here are getting that buy box, but for the most part, majority FBA favored. Probably not a good listing to hop on here doing some FBM, even though, right, the lowest price is FBM, they're still getting little to no buy box at all. Right? Just a great example to show that lowest price is not always going to win the buy box, and that's a great example right here. And I do want to say majority of the time, FBA sellers are going to have that little bit more leeway to winning the buy box, but that doesn't mean as an FBM seller you can't win the buy box, right? You can win the buy box as an FBM seller simply by having, right, a less of a price, right? If your price a little bit lower than FBA, right, to compensate for not having as fast as fulfillment, then you can most definitely win the buy box, right? You've seen it in the stocks beforehand, right? But there are some listings like these Carter Girls underwears that we just reviewed right now, where even if you're priced lowest FBM, this listing is very still favored towards FBA sellers, right? Simply because of the algorithm targeting more FBA sellers, which means we want to be careful if we want to FBM these types of products on an FBA favored listing, because we're probably not going to make that many sales. Now, aside from all of the pricing, FBM, shipping speed, reviews, also keep in mind your account health plays a role in this too. Maintaining a strong seller rating is very crucial to winning that buy box. And also having a low defect rate is also important too. If you go to your Seller Central's account health dashboard and you notice that your health account is low, that could be one of the many factors that's affecting you not winning the buy box as well. If you have a small amount of reviews and the reviews are not the best, or your shipping rate on average is pretty late, and you're overall not really on top of your account health, then you can't really expect to win that much buy box when Amazon's algorithm is seeing that you're not really on top of your account health. Therefore, in Amazon's eyes, aka, Amazon's algorithm, it's pretty hard for them to see you as a trustworthy seller, fulfilling products and really taking care of their customer base if you can't really take care of your account health. So keep in mind that having a healthy account rating is very important when it comes to winning the buy box. And keeping it healthy is very simple. Make sure you're fighting all of your complaints. Make sure your fulfillment time is on track. And simply by keeping everything organized and fighting any sort of IP complaints or beating any sort of, inauthentic complaints that obviously are legitimate and you just have to submit documents, as long as you're on top of these things, you'll be fine. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to winning the buy box is that having a low stock count can also affect your chances of winning the buy box. Sellers that are on listings for a long period of time and that have tons of stock are also typically going to have more buy box share compared to someone that doesn't have that much stock or someone that hasn't been on a listing that long, simply because of the fact that they've been on the listing longer and they have more stock of that product, which therefore they're integrated a lot more in Amazon's buy box algorithm, and they're that much more prone to have more sales. Back to the whole FBM and FBA, FBM sellers can win the buy box more over than FBA sellers, not only by having lower pricing, but also having fast shipping as an option. Real quick, guys, if you got a ton of value out of this video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and also check me out on Instagram at ecomhish, just like my YouTube channel. I post tons of really good value for you guys to grow and scale your Amazon business every single day, as well as showing my day-to-day life on my stories every single day. And if you guys are interested in how you can work directly with myself and my team to help you grow your Amazon business to 5 and even 6 figures a month in revenue, like I've done with all of my other students, which I'll pop up all over the screen right here, feel free to either DM me on my Instagram account or just straight up book a call below in the calendar link in the description. In that link, it'll ask you a few questions to make sure you're qualified to work with myself and my team. And if everything sounds good, I would love to have you in the family and help you scale this thing to the moon. All right, so I pulled up another example of Nike socks as an example, size medium, white. And we can see the buy box automatically right here. You can see shipped from, sold by, Jex Ecom, sold by Jex Ecom. This automatically tells me it's FBM because obviously if it's shipped and sold by a seller, it's FBM. If it's FBA, it'll say shipped from Amazon, sold by seller. So it'll always tell you who it's sold by. If it says shipped from the same seller as it's sold by, it's FBM. But if it's shipped from Amazon and sold by a seller, then it's FBA. But in this case, it's FBM, and they're FBMing it at what, $32.49. And we can see if I scroll down here, there's FBA sellers at $32.85, so barely priced higher, yet FBM sellers are still winning the buy box. Now, if I go to data, buy box stats once again, we can see a lot of these sellers, okay, well, a good amount of FBA and a good amount of FBM. So again, same as last time, well, not the underwear, but the first sock that we reviewed, very distributed evenly between FBM and FBA sellers. Now, if I go over to right over here where it says other sellers on Amazon, we can see the seller with the buy box right now at $32.49. I have free delivery by Friday, February 28th, right? And other sellers, FBM sellers, are way later, right? March 3rd to March 5th. So you can see simply by having a week in advance quicker shipping, they're that much more prone to have buy box simply because their shipping speeds are way faster. So you see, as an FBM seller, it's not always about having the lowest price for, to win the buy box. Also, having quicker delivery and quicker fulfillment speeds can most definitely play a role into you winning the buy box. Now, I will say this seller does have 9,000 ratings, which is pretty ridiculous. So I will say that definitely plays a role as well. And we can see they almost have 5 stars out of 9,000 ratings, which is also ridiculous. But again, not only does the ratings play a role in here, but also having that quicker shipping is definitely going to play a phenomenal role in this. Now that you understand the buy box and you've seen some live examples, let's go over some exact strategies in your Amazon business that you can use to increase your buy box percentage. Number 1, optimize pricing strategy. So out of everything that we just shown, another thing to take into consideration is the more you play around with your price, the more you update your price relative to the market, your likelihood of winning the buy box increases dramatically the more you update your pricing. Now, it's definitely not efficient for you to update it manually yourself every 5 minutes. That's why we use things like BQL, which is an automated repricing tool. It's AI. It's like $100 a month, but I promise you it's the best investment you can make for your business. Now, when you're in the beginning, you're probably not going to need it just yet, but at scale, when you have 30 different products that you obviously don't want to spend each 5 minutes on repricing every single product, you definitely want to get a repricing tool like BQL to automate that task for you. In the beginning, you can reprice yourself, you can change the pricing yourself according to the market, but at scale, you definitely want to get a repricer. I use BQL. I recommend them. They're a great software. And that software, when I first used it, I was shocked at the results that I got. So I'm telling you, when you get to that 5-figure month mark in your business and you're hitting some pretty big numbers and you're looking to scale even more, a repricer is definitely mandatory. You also want to do FBA whenever you can. I always say for newer sellers, do FBM as much as humanly possible because obviously FBM, you have quicker cash flow returns compared to FBA. Because FBM, you get your profits and your total cash back instantly. Compared to FBA, your money's stuck in a reserve balance and you don't get paid out for like the next 2 weeks. But when you're making sales and you're getting things off the ground and you're beginning to scale, just like I said with your pricing, you're definitely going to want to leverage FBA as much as possible simply because of better fulfillment and of course, better buy box share. Ideally, FBA is going to be winning the buy box a lot more compared to FBM. FBM during Q4 is a different story, but throughout the year, you definitely want to leverage FBA as much as possible. And then obviously for seasons like Q4, Christmas, right, these big holidays, you can definitely leverage FBM simply because of the fact that demand is way higher and all the FBA guys are going to be selling out compared to us FBM guys, keeping our stock, bumping our prices, and making a whole lot more money. But again, when it comes to winning buy box share, FBA all year round, it's the most efficient and it's definitely the best way when it comes to winning the buy box as much as possible. Third thing is to keep your account metrics strong.
This is a very overlooked aspect when it comes to selling on Amazon, is so many sellers forget and they look at account health as not that big of an issue when it's pretty much everything. If your account health is not strong at all, you are going to have a hard time making sales in your Amazon business. Avoid order defects, avoid late shipments, so make sure you're shipping on time. And as long as you avoid those two things, you will also avoid bad reviews. Now, I will say bad reviews are inevitable. They're gonna happen, they're gonna come. But ideally, if you're doing everything correctly, your good reviews are gonna outweigh your bad reviews dramatically. And last but not least, stock up smartly. Now, I'm not gonna tell you to go buy 1,000 products of this one ASIN you just bought for the first time. Always make your test buys in the beginning so you're not putting your business at risk and so you can get actual proof of concept. But over time, once you begin to really understand these softwares and you're making tons of sales and you can read a keyword graph really, really well, you want to try to avoid running out of stock as much as possible. The less times you run out of stock, the more Amazon can rely on you to fulfill their customer base a lot more consistently, therefore getting you more buy box share. That's why I was saying earlier in this video, stock count definitely plays a role, as well as longevity on a listing, simply because Amazon sees that you're trustworthy, you're consistent with your sales, you're consistent with your stock, and Amazon can rely on you to consistently deliver your products to the consumers all year round. But with that being said, that is everything I have to go over with the buy box. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. I hope everything made sense. And if you still have any questions buy box related, drop a comment below. I will answer your question. Or you can also message me on my Instagram account at ecomhish. And as always, if you guys got a ton of value, drop a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and turn those notifications on so that every time I drop a banger video for you guys will be notified right away so that you can watch the video and grow your Amazon business. But with that being said, I appreciate all you guys for watching the entire video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.